So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tham Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Rishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is, translation and commentary is Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Today is number 12 of chapter 11, the Universal Form. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhavad Yugapad Uttita Yadibaha Shadrisi Shashad Vasastasya Mahatmana. Okay, please repeat. Divi, in the sky. Surya, of suns. Sahasrasya, of many thousands. Bhaved, there were. Yugapat, simultaneously. Uttita, present. Yadi, if. Baha, light. Sadrishi, like that. Sa, that. Syat, might be. Basyaha, basaha, effulgence. Tasya, of him. Mahat Atmanaha, the great Lord. Translation Srila Prabhupada. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to arise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Please repeat. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of that Supreme Person in that universal form. Purport Srila Prabhupada. What Arjuna saw was indescribable, yet Sanjay is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyasa, could see whatever happened. Thus he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomena, i.e. thousands of suns. Yes. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam laite girim yadkripatam aham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Yes. Divya Surya Sahasrasya Bhavad Yugapad Uttita Yadi Bhaha Sadrisi Sasyat Pashyastasya Mahatmanaha. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Yes, so Prabhupada makes it very clear here that Sanjay, he's describing this. Of course, the Bhagavad-Gita is the conversation reported by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind, as you know, so he wasn't taking part in the battle. He was the father of Duryodhana. The Pandavas were the sons of Pandu. They were cousins. But the Pandavas were devotees, and topmost out of it's stated in the Shastra actually, out of all the Pandavas, the topmost devotee was Arjuna. But more advanced than Arjuna was Queen Kunti was considered. And then out of all the Yadavas, more advanced than Queen Kunti was in the Uddhava. He was considered out of the, of course, amongst the Brijbasis, the Gopis the most advanced. But in the Yadava clan, the most advanced was considered Kunti, and then above Kunti, Uddhava. So you can read Uddhava Gita, that's definitely to be read by all devotees in the 11th canto. But here we have a very wonderful thing. Arjuna is seeing the universal form, and so is Sanjay. He's not on the battlefield, he's with Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is blind. He's not on the battlefield, as we say. He's somewhere to one side, perhaps Hastinapur. And the narrator of the Bhagavad-Gita, Sanjay, he can see it. He's not on the battlefield. Arjuna is on the battlefield. So, seeing the universal form is not a matter of being in a location, but as it's given here, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyas, could see whatever happened. So Vyas is Krishna, Vedanta Krit Vedavid Evacha. He's the compiler of the Vedas, Vedanta Krit. He wrote them down. So Vyas is by the grace, his grace, letting Sanjay see, and Krishna by his grace is revealing the same universal form to Arjuna on the battlefield. So that is Spurti, right? Atak Shri Krishna Namadhi Na Bhavad Grayam Indriyai. Swayameva, what is it? Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayama Spuryada. Spurya means Spurti. The form, the name, form, qualities of pastime, they are transcendental. Atak Shri Krishna Namabhi Na Bhavad. They're not revealed to the material mind and senses. So even if we were on the battlefield, or at least myself, and many other soldiers, they were on the battlefield. But they didn't see it, as Prabhupada said. Sanjay could see whatever happened, thus he now compares the situation to thousands of suns. What Arjuna saw was indescribable, yet Sanjay is trying to give a middle picture. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra present, but the Sanjay. Oh, it's in the next purport, I believe. Others on the battlefield could not see this form because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjuna. So, Sanjay could see he's not on the battlefield by the grace of Vyas, Shaktivesh Avatar. Shaktivesh Avatar means he's dressed in a certain Shakti. Vyasadev, he's a Jiva, but Shaktivesh, he's dressed, Shakti Aves, dressed in the Gyan Shakti. He's accumulating all the Vedic knowledge in written form for Kali Yuga. Krishna Leela is at the end of Dwapara Yuga. So Sanjay, he is revealing to Vyas is to Vyasadev and Krishna is revealing to Arjuna. But all the other people in the locality, they cannot see. So, swayameva spuryada. How do you get to the point where spurti, a manifestation, comes? And there's three. We described it 3 weeks ago in the class. 3 levels of darshan. Bhava, vak, and darshan. Bhava means ecstasy. Just like at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Narada Muni, he feels great ecstasy when he sees Lord Vishnu. So that is a form of darshan. But then more intense than that is vak, or words, when Krishna actually speaks something to the devotee in his meditation or whatever situation. And then darshan, when you actually see the Supreme Lord, physically, so to speak. You see the rupa. So, bhava means spiritual ecstasy, bhava bhakti, and then vak, Krishna may speak, give instruction. He did that also to Narada Muni. And then the third one, he display his form. But if you remember Narada Muni, he tried to conjure up that form again at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, but he couldn't. So, why is that? Because it's a spurti. It's coming from transcendental platform. And we cannot define if we see it or not, just by our choice. We can see, and Sanjay can see, and Arjuna can see, only by the grace of Krishna. But how? Because the material body within which we are controlled cannot touch the spiritual platform, Atakshri Krishna Namadi. Name, form, qualities, pastimes of Krishna, they cannot be seen by these material eyes. We can see material objects, we can hear material sounds with this material body, but the transcendental platform remains out of reach. But Sevanmukhi Jivado. Sevanmukhi Jivado means that by beginning service with the jiva, the tongue. So what do we do with the tongue? We eat and we talk. So we should eat only Krishna Prasad, very carefully, and we should maksita matkata prana, right? The devotees, they always hearing and chanting about Krishna. What's that verse? Maksita matkata prana bodhayanta parasparam. What's the third line again? Sorry? Kathayanta atamam nityam tushyanti cha rumanti cha. Yes, kathayanta atamam nityam. They're always talking about me, and they're enlightening one another. And so they feel satisfaction and pleasure. So that is Sevanmukhi Jivado. By the jiva, by hearing and chanting about Krishna, and by taking Krishna Prasad, Swayameva Spuryada. Eva means certainly. Then the Supreme Lord is certainly revealed. I always remember what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one place in the Jaiva Dharma, that if you approach Krishna and you perform sadhana bhakti and you follow regulative principles and you study Siddhanta and you do some Nam Tapasya, you chant Nam Bhajan, then Krishna will certainly reciprocate. Ye tam mam prapadyante tam steva bhajamiyaham. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. It's not that Krishna is saying, some of them, as they surrender to me, I reward. Some who surrender to me, some who chant Hare Krishna, some who discuss the Bhagavatam, some of them I reveal myself. No. Krishna says, yes, I will reveal. Swayam eva. Certainly. He's certainly revealed. So this is a very important point. That Krishna is there, we should be fully confident that he will reveal if we perform sadhana. Right? So we already discussed this in the class, Bhagavatam class, a couple of weeks ago, what is the process of Krishna consciousness? First you learn tattva. You learn about Krishna. Sambandha Gyan. How Krishna is related to everything. Then you learn Abhideya, Nam Bhajan, and you achieve Prayojan. So the first step is to understand the philosophy and then to perform Nam Bhajan in Kali Yuga. Of course you can study Bhagavatam non-stop. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhukabanai, Shravanadi, hearing and chanting, and the 9 process, Shravanadi, Sudachitte, the consciousness becomes purified, Kadide Uday. And then the Krishna Prem awakens and in this purified consciousness. So this is a very important point, because Atak Shri Krishna namadhi na bhaved grayam indriya. Graya, the indriyas, the material indriyas, they can't grasp Krishna. But Shravanadi Sudachitte, but the purified consciousness, purified by hearing and chanting, then Karide Uday, that what wakes up? Nitya Siddha Krishna, the Krishna Prem. And it is that Krishna Prem, it is consciousness imbibed with Krishna Prem, is the vehicle by which the Supreme Lord is perceived. You understand? Just like if you're blind or your eyes are out of focus, then if you put on the right spectacles, everything becomes clear. So our consciousness is Chetudapadamarjanam, it needs cleaning, it's blocked up. And because it's unclean, it's like a mirror. You can't see a reflection in it. You can't see your own self. Who am I? What's the purpose of life? So you have to clean it by Shravanam Kirtanam, by the process. Based on Sambandha, the knowledge of relationships between Krishna and his energy. So then that Krishna Prem, that is inherent in the soul, in purified consciousness, becomes the medium through which we realize Krishna directly. Just like Arjuna, he's purified here by the grace of Krishna. Sanjay, he's the disciple of Vyasa, so he is purified. So that is the process. Through purified consciousness, the transcendental platform, the transcendental Lord is perceived. Therefore, Prabhupada called this a science, that you have to follow the process of purification. Then you will see Krishna. Because Krishna can reveal himself as he likes, even to the impure consciousness. And that is the beginning of the, as we say, Narada Muni. He tells our Narada Muni, he sits down, he tries to see Krishna again, but he can't. He can only just get up the Manasi Murti, the mental deity. But he can't get the full revelation of Krishna. So Krishna explains to him, he talks to him, Vak. He says, well, Narada, I have appeared to you just to enthuse your sadhana. Same thing happened where? Where else did that happen? There's other occasions. Ajamil, he didn't get the darshan of the Supreme Lord, but he got the darshan of Dhruva. They all got darshan before they were perfectly purified, to inspire them in the path. So Krishna can appear even to somebody with contaminated consciousness. But he's obviously available, in the true meaning of the word, to somebody with purified consciousness. So there's that verse in the Ishupanishad number 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani evanupashati savabhuteshu chatmanam tatona vijagupshite. Yeah, these are the 3 things. Prabhupada explains that these three things are the vision of the Uttamadhikari. One who always sees everything in relationship to the Supreme Lord. I mean, all the energy, everything. We've already been given a lesson in that in the 10th chapter. Atmani evanupashati. Atmani evanupashati means, it says, all living entities. So the first line, you see all the energy, the sunset, the tree, all the land, water, air, in relationship to Krishna and all its variety. But then, all living entity, Chatmanam, within the Supreme Lord, in relationship to the Supreme Lord, then Sarvabhuteshu Chatmanam, then you should see all this energy and all the living entities within the Supreme Lord. This is the important point. Now, if you see everything within the Supreme Lord, the actual translation Prabhupada gives is that you see the Supreme Lord within everything, just like everyone has the super soul. But now, if the Supreme Lord is within everyone, that means that everyone is within the Supreme Lord. This is a Chincha Beda Beda. The Supreme Lord is within everyone's heart, and yet everyone is within the Supreme Lord. So Mother Yashoda, the Leela, famous Leela, Balarama, the cowherd boys, Krishna's eating dirt. Children sometimes they eat. Mother Yashoda, hello, what's going on, Krishna? She saw herself within Krishna. So Krishna is within everything, but everything is within Krishna. So that is a Chincha Beda. There's another aspect of a Chincha Beda Beda Tattva. So those three things, everything in relationship to the Supreme Lord, all living entities as his parts and parcels, Mabai Vamsa Jiva Loke, and the Supreme Lord within everything, Tatona Vidyagupchite. What's the result? The Upanishad says that person with that vision never hates anyone or anything or any being. He becomes free of repulsion. In the land of duality, the normal materially conditioned state, we like this and we don't like this, right? This is my friend, this is my enemy. This is good, this is bad. But that is not transcendental vision. Transcendental vision means Krishna everything is related to Krishna, everyone is his part and parcel, and Krishna is within everything, and everything is within Krishna. And that Prabhupada explains in the purport there that is the vision of the Uttamadhikari, the topmost devotee. So the Uttamadhikari starts at Bhava Bhakti. Right? We can put bhakti into 4 stages. Vaidhi, we follow rules and regulations, right? Regulative principles. We get up, we go to Mangalarti. But then within that we want to develop rag. Rag means attraction. So we study the Shastra, we study the Leela of Krishna, we study the Leela of Lord Chaitanya, and then we become attracted because Krishna's nature is attractive, his Leela is all attractive also. So that rag, which means attraction, becomes then rati. So this is the stage of Bhava Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti, Rag Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti. That means spiritual bhava. That means the awakening of prem. Prem is actually awakening in the heart. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sarakabanai. And that purifies the soul completely. And then the soul is able to see every reality as it is. So that's also that progression is there in the Shishastikam. Chaitadapana Marjanam, like we say, first step, purify the mind. Cleanse the dust from the mirror of the mind. Chaitadapana Marjanam, Bhavmaha. Then, as you study philosophy, the material fire decreases. Just like we sing in the morning sometimes, Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike. All the bad things, Naistike, nasty things, become practically destroyed down to nil. Passion and ignorance goes down if you study Krishna consciousness. So once that is done, then you can move on to Bhava Bhakti. Because Chetumavan Bhavmahadni Vagni Nivapana, that means that once you're studying Krishna consciousness and you're having a vision of Krishna, then you no longer have the material burning desire. And what does that mean? That means for Dhanam Janam Sundarim. I want money. You know, we're trained up from birth by this materialistic society. Get money, get money. And then we want to be famous. Oh, I want to be a big pop star or a sports thing. I want fame, I want position. And then Sundarim, we want sex life. So those three things, they're very prominent in the materially conditioned person. But if you study Bhagavatam, those pushings of passion and ignorance become down, very close, down. And then Shreyara Chandrika Vitarinam. Then this is a sign that good fortune is coming upon that soul. Because he's no longer desiring things that will keep him in birth and death in the cycle, but now he's desiring the transcendental abode. So, Vidya Vadu Jivanam. That means in this state where material desire is reducing and spiritual realization is increasing, Vidyavadu Jivanam means the natural quality of enlightenment within the soul becomes prominent. That means the soul is entering Bhava Bhakti now. And at Bhava Bhakti, he starts to realize Krishna and his own relationship. And then Lord Chaitanya says, Anandam Buddhibhadanam Pratiponam. That as he realizes himself and Krishna and the spiritual world, then increasing bliss becomes his companion. So all these things are there, but first Vaidhi, cultivate Rag, study Bhagavatam, then you'll get some Bhava, then you'll get Prem. But even before Bhava and Prem, Krishna can appear to you. This is a message here. And it's there at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Krishna can appear to whoever he likes, as he likes, when he likes, on the battlefield, in the ashram, on the top of the Himalayas, in the middle of Pahaganj, wherever. Krishna can appear. He's not restricted. And but if we want to, so Krishna can appear even when we're at the sadhana platform, we're not properly purified, to inspire us. But then as we progress, then this state of seeing everything in relationship to the Supreme Lord, all living entity as his part and parcels, and everything within Krishna and Krishna within everything, this becomes the natural vision of the Uttamadhikari. So in the period of sadhana, that may be a mental thing. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Everything has come from Krishna. Hamsa Vasya Prabhavo. Krishna is within everything. Oh, I've studied about Paramatma, chapter 6. It might be a mental thing, but the Uttamadhikari sees everything in that way directly all the time. So he is not relying on spurti, but he is constantly, and therefore Prabhupada somebody once said, somebody was once standing in front of Prabhupada, and a devotee said, let Prabhupada see the deity, or something like this. And Prabhupada said, the spiritual master is always seeing the deity. So the Uttamadhikari, Prem Bhakta, he's always seeing Krishna. But in the period of sadhana, this may happen. But this is only as it's there in the beginning of the 9th chapter, right? Before this whole section. It's very interesting at the beginning of 9th chapter. Yes. This knowledge that Krishna is revealing is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets, the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of all religion. It is everlasting and joyfully performed. So that is the spiritual platform. Now, because Krishna is actually a factual person and he's actually factually there, therefore if you perform sadhana, you will see that Supreme Person. This is the important point, that Krishna is there, but the system to get there is purifying the consciousness and to get his grace ultimately. Now, other nice point in this universal form is that Arjuna saw unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions, decorated many celestial ornaments, divine upraised weapons, garlands and scents, and wondrous, brilliant, all-expanding. Right? So Arjuna is seeing directly that incredible form. Now, so this is really amazing what this dialogue, Krishna. And it's very interesting. You see here in 22, I see the Adityus, the Vasu, the Sadyas, the Vishvadevas, the Maruts. That was in the 10th chapter. Krishna would say that I am the Maruts, I am the sun, I am the moon, I am those my opulent things. So Krishna is seeing those directly now. So we can think in that way, that one day I want to see the universal form. But the thing is, as Arjuna says, he's very terrified at the end. And this is a very important point, that Krishna is showing Arjuna that this material world, I am entered into as Paramatma, as the Virat Rupa, but it's not a nice place. It's a place of birth, death, old age and disease. Kalosmi aham, I'm all devouring death. Time, I am. Mrityu sarva haraschaham, I'm all devouring death. So in the material world, it's a fearsome place to see the Supreme Lord's activities. So, therefore Arjuna doesn't see that form for long because it's too terrifying, and Krishna returns to his human-like form, and he relates to Arjuna in his human form. So we've already discussed a few classes ago that the basic problem with the demoniac people is they want to enjoy this world. Right? If you look at, they talk left-wing, right-wing, capitalist and communist or socialist and liberal or whatever. But the real division is divine and demoniac. The divine know that this world is always going to be a place of birth, death, old age and disease. But the demoniac, they push that aside. They don't want God, but they want to enjoy the material world. Right? So that is the Ravana. The Ravana. The devotee, he is dedicated to the Transcendental Lord, but the Ravana, he's dedicated to the material energy as a source of enjoyment. And this is insanity, because it's all temporary. You're going to die. So you may become the king of the world, you may become Bali, or you may become Indra, you may even become Lord Brahma, but it's all temporary. And especially if you are Ravana and Kumbhakarna, the demoniac, are always vanquished. Why? Because Krishna favors the devotees. As simple as that. So this is a very interesting point. That Duryodhana, he's not seeing the universal form, but he's seeing this world. I want to enjoy this world. I want to be on the throne. I want to be the big king. And he's completely oblivious to the fact that that's temporary. Right? Now we're not spring chickens. But even if you're just 20 years old, you go through so much change in your life, right? So we've seen that, right? I was talking to one devotee the other day, and there's always some problem. You have to fix this, you have to do this, you have to fill in this form, you have to go here. We're always some problem coming at you in this material world. So basically all those problems will come at you non-stop in the material world, and then the biggest problem will come, death. And death will come and take everything away. So therefore, to be a Ravana, to be a Duryodhana, to try and enjoy this material world, the Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, is a form of insanity. If you try to enjoy this world, or you try to get, you spend your whole life trying to get something that will be taken away from you, that is a very hopeless condition. The devotees see the fallacy, but the materialist just thinks, well, this is all we have, this material world, so we should enjoy it. So, Rajavidya Rajaguyam, the spiritual knowledge of transcendence, that is the greatest secret. It's the greatest secret because nobody can see it. They're all in this material body, and they're only seeing matter. So therefore, the greatest secret is to perform sadhana bhakti and to see the spiritual world. This is what is being given to Sanjaya and Arjuna. So we should consider like that. Do I want to be Ravana, trying to get Sita, but never can enjoy her? Do I want to be Duryodhana, capture the throne, even though I'm not qualified or I'm not deserving? Do I want to be Hiranyakashipu? All these people were vanquished. They were all very powerful. But we should take the example of Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj just surrendered everything. Right? Even though Sukracharya, seminal guru, said, don't surrender to Vishnu, you'll lose everything. But actually, did Bali Maharaj lose anything? No. He became, Krishna became his companion, and he became the king of heaven. He's waiting there, and after Indra's term is done, Bali Maharaj will enjoy. So the thing is, the materialist, his very foolish methodology, he tries to work on his own karma, but if he pursued the plan of Bali, you want to rule this world, then give it everything you have in charity. Generally people in Kali Yuga think that by adharma, right? Dharma, artha, kama. People think in Kali Yuga, by adharma, I'll get artha. By being a liar and a cheat and a thief and a rogue and a rascal and cheating my customers, I'll get artha, I'll become wealthy. But actually, if you perform your dharma and you perform your duty nicely, you'll get artha. But if you just think, the purpose of life is to steal and cheat, then you are stuck in this world. So, we have a choice. We have a choice, right? I think that's also there in the 9th chapter. Very famous verse. Right? Ashraddha dhana purusha dharma syasya parantapa aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsaravatmane. That means those who are not faithful on this path, O Arjuna, return to birth and death in the material world. Anyway, that's the verse. Apraptyamam nivartante. Those that are not faithful on this path. Oh, here it is, yeah. Ashradana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa apraptyamam nivartante mrityu samsara. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. They return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Just like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, they had to take, of course they're special personalities engaged in Leela, but they return to birth and death. So therefore, if one actually takes to Krishna consciousness, it's the most intelligent decision possible. The more you surrender to Krishna, the more you'll get the reciprocation of Krishna. But the ultimate reciprocation is that he will reveal himself as the Supreme Lord, just as he's doing to Arjuna and Sanjay. Just like he did to Dhruva Maharaj, just like he did to Narada Muni, just like he does throughout the Bhagavatam. He reveals himself. He revealed himself to the Brijbasis as the Supreme Lord after the Govardhan Leela. So that is the aspiration of the devotee, to realize Nityasiddha Krishna Prem Sadhakabanai Shravanadi Sudachitte Karideodai. And once the consciousness is purified by sadhana bhakti, then the vision of Krishna is bestowed on the devotee. So we'll finish on that point. Any question? Yes? Oh yeah, look, here it is. Yeah, go ahead.
At the beginning you said Sanjaya could see everything. Arjuna could see and he was...
Yeah, by the grace of Vyasadeva.
Yeah. By the grace of Vyasadeva he could see everything what is going on battlefield.
Yeah.
But by the grace of Vyasadeva he could not understand that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana there are demonic.
Say again?
He could not understand that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana they are demonic person. He could not understand.
Who?
Sanjaya.
Well, what do you think?
I am asking you.
Well, I'm asking you, what's your opinion?
My opinion that when he could see what is going on battlefield by mercy of Vyasadeva, then by mercy of Vyasadeva he could have seen that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana they are having the demonic nature and he shouldn't have supported it.
Is this the first time Sanjay is seeing Duryodhana and... Is it the first time? Sanjay is the disciple of... He's part of the Yadava clan. You think he doesn't know already that Dhritarashtra is a rascal that tried to kill the Pandavas in hundreds of ways? Do you think he doesn't know that Dhritarashtra favors Duryodhana? Of course he knows they're demoniac. What's the point of this question? I mean, use your intelligence. Any other question? Yeah.
Hello. As you have rightly said, that we see people around the world who are attached to the physical pleasure. When we come across the real devotee, I think he is also looking after the pleasure, but he is running after the divine and spiritual pleasure, which can be achieved only our consciousness and by the mercy of Lord Krishna. So the real problem is how to differentiate between this material pleasure and the divine pleasure.
Good question. Well, material pleasure is selfish. We want to conquer the world so that
I think material pleasure is the pleasure of body and divine pleasure is the pleasure of soul.
We want to enjoy this material world for our own self. So the material world is based on selfishness. We want to enjoy matter for our own self-aggrandizement. But in the spiritual world, people are not searching for pleasure. You might find that extraordinary. But they're searching to give pleasure. Given that example, and it's in the Bhagavatam, that when the gopis ran to see Krishna on the Ras Leela night, they wanted to give Krishna pleasure. When Krishna is calling the gopis with the flute sound, he's calling them so that he can give them pleasure. In this material world, as an example, the mother is always considering the pleasure and safety of the child. She wakes up in the night, feeds the baby, no complaint, because she's completely fixed on the needs of the child. So in the spiritual world, everyone is unselfish. They're all serving with, it's called seva bhav. In the spiritual world, everyone has the mood of service. And it is on the basis of that mood of service that prem is operative in the spiritual world. So the devotee, like you said at the beginning of your question, he's not really searching after pleasure. He is performing his duty to his spiritual master. Dharma. I have taken vows from the spiritual master. I have promised to study Bhagavatam, chant 16 rounds, follow regulative principles. So that is my pleasure. My pleasure is the execution of the order of Guru. And my concern whether I'm happy or sad in this dualistic mentality is not my concern. So in the material world, though, everyone is in this dualistic mentality. I like this, I don't like this. But in the spiritual world, that's why we should have Siddhanta. In the spiritual world, nobody is thinking, I want to go out and enjoy for myself. Leela means everyone is serving. The cowherd boys are serving Krishna. Mother Yashoda, the residents of Vrindavan, they have a mood of service. This is very hard for us to grasp in the material world, because in this material world everyone is selfish. The child is selfish, the mother is selfish, the father is selfish, the politician is selfish, the army is selfish, everybody is selfish. And therefore they are fighting individually and collectively. I have my selfish idea, you have your selfish idea, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm 100 people that believe this idea, you're 100 people that believe that idea, then we should fight. But nobody is considering it like that. Nobody is putting himself the center. That is the Ravana, that is the Duryodhana, that is the Hiranyakashipu mentality. But the sadhu, as you mentioned, sadhu. Sadhu means somebody who follows Shastra. Sadhu, also sat, is the person who's interested in sat. That means that which is transcendental, which is eternal. So, when we're in the material world, we may look at the Leela of Krishna and we may think, oh, Krishna's enjoying with beautiful girls. But it is completely different mood. It is not the material lust. Therefore, in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj explains that material desire is like iron, whereas spiritual desire is like gold. In the spiritual world, people are desiring the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and His devotees. But in the material world, and that is gold, it is like iron, especially now in Kali Yuga, how I can get money, how I can get position, how I can enjoy. But that is the Bhava Maha Nivagni Nivapanam. That is the burning fire of material life. Everybody is searching. Let me get a big car, a big plasma TV, a nice house, a good holiday. They're all burning in desire, but the sadhu is not. Because the sadhu is thinking, I have the order of my guru, and by his grace I will become the eternal servant of Krishna. Gopi Bhata Kamalayo Dadas Anadas. And therefore, the sadhu is shanti. Huh? What is that verse? The devotee is peaceful but ashanti. Asat, ashanti. People who are chasing the material things, they are not peaceful. So in this material world, people go out to dance with girls. Not so much in India, maybe in Delhi. They go to dance in the disco, right? But then they all start fighting. They get drunk and they start fighting in the street. We don't hear about that in the Bhagavatam. Because when Krishna dances with the gopis, this is a mood of unselfish ecstasy. You understand? But in the disco, they're all drunken fools and rascals trying to enjoy. So sometimes conflict arises. So that is the material world. Material world is one group of people trying to predominate the other. Just like we explained, the lion wants to enjoy the buffalo wants to kill the lion. Huh? The Muslims want to dominate the world, the Jews want to dominate the world, the Christian wants to dominate the world. Everyone is trying to be the big man. But you don't have to conquer the world for God, because God is already in control of every atom and molecule. If you say, I want to conquer the world for my tribal deity, then you're admitting your tribal deity is not God. Because if he was God, he'd be telling you he's already in perfect control. So real religion is peaceful. Not man-made religion is dualistic, and it ends up in war and pestilence and inquisitions and killing and murder, because it's just another extension of the Ravana mentality. I want to dominate the world economically. I want to dominate the world politically. I want to dominate the world educationally. I want to dominate the world religiously. Right? These man-made religions, they always want to dominate the world. So they're Ravana. They're infected by the Ravana idea. Conquest. But real religion means, no, the Supreme Lord is already in perfect control. I have a choice to be a little Ravana and try and enjoy this world, or I can become the servant of his servant. I can wake up my service attitude. So the spiritual world is not a place of envious competition. So when we look at the material world, we see people doing the material things, but we should not think that this is like the spiritual world. There's disagreements. There are disagreements within ecstasy. So the sadhu, the real sadhu, is not trying to enjoy. He's trying to serve. Sannyas, that's in the 18th chapter. Arjuna asked Krishna, what is sannyas? What is chag? At the beginning of it. Chag, Krishna explains, is that when you're performing activities without attachment to the result, you're performing your dharma, your duty, and the result isn't your goal. Your motivation is my dharma, my duty. Just like a dharmic husband looks after the family as his duty. But another person may be looking after the family to enjoy this family. But the devotee, his dharma is not to enjoy the material world. His dharma is to become spiritually realized. So the sadhu is peaceful. He doesn't have material desire because he sees this material world. What is it? It's just a dream. It's just a dream where people become prime minister or president or king or a great emperor or a great general, and then they die. Huh? So he doesn't spend his life trying to be in a dream. He wants to wake up. Understand? So that's why at the beginning Siddhanta is very important. Because if we understand the spiritual platform, then we become purified of selfishness. And then we can understand that, what the pastimes of Radha and Krishna really are. You see? We can understand some transcendental quality. So Arjuna, he is seeing that spiritual transcendental platform, but he's seeing it in the material world. We want to see the Ras Leela in the transcendental world. But we have to have Seva Bhav. You understand? In the material world, everyone is self-service. But in the spiritual platform, everyone is trying to serve. So the neophyte, he comes to Krishna consciousness and thinks, oh, I'll chant Hare Krishna, I'll enjoy. I'll perform yoga, I'll get mystic powers, and I'll become powerful. I'll enjoy. But a devotee doesn't think like that. He just thinks, let me satisfy the devotees. Let me satisfy my spiritual master. So he's peaceful. Does that answer your question? So, any other points or question? All right, we'll finish at that point. Srila Prabhupada, Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavad-Gita ki Jai.